Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome in to another fun-filled adventure of Facts Not Feelings. And next to me, we have the incredible Vasilios Lambos. And I know I kind of teed it up yesterday with my incredible guest. And I think I said a little bit yesterday as well, is that and I wasn't kidding when I said this. In our short conversation yesterday, I learned more about Amazon marketing, more about Amazon, more about advertising, more about everything in general in the short time talking to you yesterday, or now it's been 2 days ago, than I think I've ever learned in my life. And so I'm just going to jump right into it and kick us off, like how you got into this crazy industry and what you're doing and how you're just pretty much taking over Amazon, to be quite honest.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be on the show, and I appreciate all our time the other day. I was pleasantly surprised, honestly, that there were amazing marketers like you in the industry that kind of understands what we do.
Well, thank
Um,
you.
I will say that that's sort of the intro to how I got in the industry. Um, I didn't really know there was this whole world that existed around programmatic media, and the partners in that space are not there. There's not that many great partners out there that sort of work in the programmatic space, especially on the tech side, um, because it's hard to do, and especially in automotive, OTT, streaming TV, all of these buzzwords that are getting thrown out in the industry. It is very opaque. It is hard to understand. CongintionDigital, I founded the company with a couple partners. Um, One of them, Carson Henry, and I worked at Hendrick Automotive. So we were auto retail people from the start. And we found a problem in the space that we knew we could solve, and founded the company with some pretty good relationships at Amazon. Um, and that was sort of it. The rest is history. We kind of been on that I would say, problem solving for the Amazon DSP for the last year and a half.
And you guys have been killing it. I remember it was at Digital Dealer. I was talking to Dusty a little bit, and shout out Dusty. And just, I mean, in the short time of where you guys started to where you are now, and just how you've exploded. And you went from starting out, and all of a sudden now you're hosting after parties. I mean, and that's obviously credible for where you all have where you've grown, and that's fantastic and phenomenal. But when you think, at least when I think Amazon advertising, you guys are the first company that comes to mind. I mean, you guys are just crushing it. And I think when we were talking about, coming on and talking about what we're going to talk about, there's a lot of misconceptions on what it is, what it actually does. And the other people are just like, I don't even know what it is. Like, what do I even do with it? Do I need it? Is it the same thing? Am I double dipping? Do I need to have both? I mean, there are just so many questions out there that people just honestly do not even know what it is or what it does.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think we are an industry agnostic company. I will make note of that. Despite starting in automotive, and the reason we've started in automotive, not just because we've came from the auto retail side, but the auto industry, there's brilliant minds that I feel like aren't talking, like all these brilliant marketing directors, brilliant marketing people at the store, at the corporate level in the auto group, that understand or have insights that should be shared. And I think there's an opportunity that exists, especially on the Amazon side, to educate the market better. Today, I think from afar, it's easy to say that, yeah, we've grown so much. Really, I've just been trying to do a better job of getting out there and talking about it. Amazon is a force to reckon with, programmatically speaking. Their Amazon advertising business is past $30 billion in annual spends today. It's actually larger than YouTube, and growing. And the reason they're getting a lot of traction is really revolves around the fact that 81% of the population has an Amazon account that's 18 or older. And that data, along with all of the subsidiaries that Amazon owns, right? They own Whole Foods. You have video gamers on Twitch TV. There's these subsidiaries you've never even heard of that is an Amazon owned property that you use every day. In addition to providing Amazon the knowledge of where, what products you may be buying on or searching for in that matter. I think programmatic for dealers, especially local markets, local retailers, is a huge opportunity area. And we see that with automotive, especially on the OTT front, because dealers are looking for other channels and opportunities right now to succeed. COVID did a phenomenal thing. I actually, and I apologize if this comes across wrongly, I loved COVID because I say that in a way that's like, all right, well, didn't love the disease, loved what happened from a market environment, because where there's challenges, there are indeed opportunities. And it made us more focused on finding how to improve our media plan. And so there's a little bit of a tailwind where it could be timing, but Amazon as a channel, the time to learn what it's all about is now, because what we did not, in a harder market, more difficult market, may not work today. And you have to look at other more cost efficient channels. You have to be more focused on the audiences that you're targeting. And programmatic gives you a lot of flexibility and control on exactly who sees your ads, right? And who you can target. So I'll pass the mic back to you on that one. I know you've got a lot of stuff running through your head right now.
A few things. So with COVID, I got to ask the question. So when you see, let's going to throw around the wonderful buzzwords that we all like to throw around and do the buzzword bingo with them, is you've got all the displays in the OTT and see whatever the correct one to throw around at this point. But you saw, okay, we're going to invest in, whether you already were investing in OTT or you just jumped in during COVID because everyone did. You saw all of a sudden, okay, well, we're going to start to compare all of our numbers against those COVID numbers. Well, okay, your numbers, you can't, if you do that, they're going to look way different. Well, I'm just going to spend the exact same amount I did during 2020. You can't do that and expect the same results. Are you finding the same thing with Amazon advertising, that you've got to increase your budget as well versus your 2020 numbers?
Yeah, we've definitely seen a trend of you need to actually spend more in this current market on the brand side to capitalize and really just capture more market share. The reason for that is, despite dealers having lower new car inventory, that didn't necessarily mean that demand slowed down. There's more demand today in the industry than there was a year ago. There's just not enough supply to support it. And so consumers are searching and they're shopping for brands. And if you're looking to capture that market share, there are dealers who are being aggressive and they are bolstering their media plans. They're capitalizing on the current market environment despite not having inventory. And so, your media plan should not be, I think the biggest thing, reflective of the inventory that you have on the lot. Now, that's not saying you need inventory to sell. I'm not saying, but it is important for you to think about, I think for dealers in particular, to think about their retail location and their brand more around customer acquisition, less about, just having inventory. What inventory do I need to push to that consumer? I will say this, buyers, customers, they purchase when they feel understood, not when they understand you, right? And so you can use OTT. Actually, Amazon will call it streaming TV now. We've actually changed the terminology. It is streaming TV. It's the big screen, non-skippable ads, and you have control on where to serve those ads. The biggest thing with Amazon today is the Amazon Garage. There's over 190 million vehicles uploaded to the Amazon Garage. So that's year, make, model data. It's first-party data, and it's addressable. So this is data that an advertiser can go on today and select which makes and models, and you can create strategies that are not just prospective. They can be remarketing, right? It can be your data or Amazon's data. It could be both. It could be, it varies on the business objective. You can go after selling more inventory, but you can also use that channel to acquire more inventory too, right? Who wouldn't want to know, or better yet, who wouldn't want to have control over which inventory I need to recondition for the dealership? And you have control to do that. We see dealers filtering for certain makes, models, and years that are best fit to acquire at the store level.
And I just want to reemphasize that hardcore on that. If you think of any other data that's out there, this is everyone, not everyone, going back to, you said 190 million plus vehicles are in Amazon garage. Most people are going to have an Amazon Prime account. And unless you're a dealer that you've got your demo, you're putting your vehicle in there. And I've been asked so many times from dealers, well, why would they do that? Well, because I want to personalize it. I want my windshield wipers for my year, make, and model car. I want to get my floor mats, or I want to get the headlights, or whatever it may be. It is now personalized. And I have willingly given and provided that information to Amazon. So now Amazon goes, wait, so we can market this. And now Cognition has said, well, yeah, let's help you do that. So this is information that the consumer has willingly provided Amazon that you can capitalize on that. And so for that, like you said, whether it's, hey, we're going to run a campaign on, I know we had this discussion earlier about that, like Ford Truck Month, or whether it's whatever it may be, or we need to do a parts thing, or, the lifestyle, and we can get into how incredible that is of, hey, when someone has a lifestyle change, they're looking to buy something, and how you can capitalize on that. This is information that is, I'll say, is so untapped, and you guys are working, obviously you guys know this. It's just this information and this data is so vital, and consumers are just, they've been really giving this because they want that personalized experience, and they're getting it. Yeah. And I don't know if that's really sinking into people, and why this works so well.
Yeah, there's a lot of misconception out there today, especially in the automotive world. But, people think that, data that, the data out there is, we've been challenged left and right with different questions. Obviously, people.
What? You've been challenged? Never.
New things. You're on the bleeding edge.
What? New technology? People are abrasive to that? Never.
Yeah, I know, it's hilarious, but it's true. So you have to embrace it. I mean, if you're sitting in my, from my view on the industry, I look at it and I get excited. I get giddy about challenge, right? And, you have to be, if you're in sales, or if everybody's in sales at the end of the day, I may be biased, right? I'm building technology to make it easier for customers to run an Amazon marketing campaign. That's what we do as a company. Let's put the data aside. It is difficult to run a streaming TV ad today. It is difficult to run display and programmatic media. We're trying to make it turnkey, enable automation, so that anybody at a dealer or in the market could run that strategy and really capitalize on these amazing audiences that we talk about. So there's sort of two narratives, right? There's educating the market, which we're doing today, to just say, hey, this exists. I will say, the big elephant in the room is Amazon. When we talk about Amazon Garage, Amazon got into the automotive space because they did $8.6 billion in parts and accessories sales last year. And like the same way dealers are thinking about digital retailing, I try to make it personal, we try to compare it to the same methodology around CX design on your website. The same way you want to provide the right vehicle to the right customer, Amazon wants to make sure that you have the right part or accessory for your vehicle. And so they created the Amazon Garage, not as a way of stealing your data or all these random ideas that I hear. I'm like, nobody's stealing any data. Users are willingly putting in their year, make, model, so that when they go and they search for a part or accessory, they're going to get to the product that they know they need most. It's not really that complicated, fundamentally, when you think about the user experience. And as an advertiser, we're just helping a lot of it's, and I say we help dealers, we actually power most of the agencies in the market to do this. That's auto agencies in particular. to help them enable these campaigns for their clients. So we get a lot of client feedback on what's working, what's not working. The biggest opportunity today with Amazon versus Google versus Facebook is we can match back offline attribution to all of your campaign strategies and media exposure. So whether you run, VIN specific display, dynamic display, OTT, or even streaming audio, we can match back your sales data to tell you what the return on ad spend looked like. You couldn't do that previously, and it took a lot of third-party integrations to do it programmatically, even on like Trade Desk and other programmatic DSPs in the market. The biggest benefit to Amazon is because they own the Fire TV device, they own the Amazon Alexa device, right? And they have the entire ecosystem. Programmatically, the Amazon DSP is actually the best place to measure your performance full funnel. Even I learned that just by building these solutions. We said, wow, we can connect the data that's available in the Amazon Marketing Cloud to your ad efforts. That's been a huge game changer for us because we took OTT, which was very archaic, hard to understand if it was successful or not, and we made it so that we can prove exactly what your ROI looks like when someone's sitting on their couch watching your brand spot on their Fire TV device.
Well, yeah, and I think going back, and I just dawned on me that didn't talk about in the very beginning. Okay, what is Amazon advertising? Where is it being served? So I should have talked about this very beginning. In order to serve Amazon ads, this isn't being served on, if you have an Amazon Fire TV or an Amazon Fire Stick, or if you have a smart TV and you go into Amazon and you pull up, we have an Amazon Fire, we have an Amazon Fire TV. Inside of there, you can still, I live in Illinois, so we use Xfinity. Well, inside of Amazon Fire, okay, great. I can still watch Comcast and I can get served any of those ads. I can also be on Hulu. So it's the same experience if you have a smart TV in essence, but you need to be going through some type of Amazon product, whether that's Amazon Fire, or like you said, Twitch, or Garage, anything that's an Amazon product. It's not going to be if I turn on cable, if you still have cable, or I'm on YouTube and being served that. So sorry, we should have talked about in the very beginning. I apologize. I should have brought that up sooner. So did I miss anything on the nuts and bolts of that?
Yeah, that's pretty much correct. It's all ad-supported apps, streaming apps, and we talk about priority placement. So if you're buying media through a Amazon partner like us, or an agency that is powered by the Amazon DSP, right? They are going to have the ability to get priority placement on Fire TV. There's a lot of advantages, obviously, to do that. In the end of the day, when we talk about placement, the bigger point that I want to make for OTT in particular is it's not just about placement for OTT, it's about usage. Amazon Fire TV devices get the highest amount of market OTT streaming TV usage today, product-wise, versus Roku, Apple TV. Fire TV has the highest level of usage. That's important because what you also want to make sure, right, is that if you're delivering a OTT streaming ad, that ad is being seen. And in the case of Fire TV, that's a pretty big opportunity. Outside of that, the biggest benefit, again, offline attribution, we can measure and match back attribution because we know you're an Amazon user if you're logged into an Amazon Fire TV device. But in terms of delivery and placement, it's all Amazon, predominantly Amazon Fire TV. If it's delivered on Roku or Apple TV, it's Amazon-owned apps like IMDb TV, Amazon TV, and so forth.
And going back to the your own information is being put in there by your own willingness to put it in there, and you're providing that information. Once again, it's not 123 Main Street. This is actual information that's being put in. Hey, this is Brooke Furnace. I live at blah, 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 blah. This is my actual information. So now as a dealer, when you choose, hey, I'm going to move forward with Amazon advertising, you have Brooke's first and last name, you have Brooke's real email address, and you have Brooke's real physical address. This isn't some lead that someone's just, hey, I'm shopping around. You have actual real information. And there aren't a lot of other advertising tools out there that have that accurate information. And there may be tools out there that say, hey, I can see information out there and I can bring that information to you, but now you got to act on it. Instead, this is someone that's saying, hey, no, this is stuff I can give you right now, right here, everything on a silver platter. And they've already given it to you. It's just amazing to me, like what Amazon has done to compile all this data. And it's just consumers saying, hey, once again, I want a better experience. I want my experience personalized, and I'll give this to you. And now in turn, here's some Amazon advertising everything's just been served up for us. It's great. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I think the other side to the story too is cost and media plan efficiency. So the one thing I did want to cover today, right? There are a lot of different pros and cons to the medium that
Yes.
you're buying, and so how you articulate the pros and cons of which channel you're in also really anchors on kind of two big pieces. One, it's your marketing budget, and the secondary to that is your business objective. When we talk about Amazon, we aren't telling customers, even agencies who are looking to activate media on the Amazon ecosystem, we are not the only channel that should be in a client's media plan. The same way, like you don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? And so each medium has a different place in the media plan. And so when you look at the funnel, Amazon is, I think, in such a unique position because the Amazon customer is very mid-funnel, really mid-funnel, and you can make campaign strategies that are very bottom funnel, have higher call to action engagement, like some of the dynamic vehicle acquisition display we spoke about, right, where we're actually showing a cash offer to a customer based on the vehicle they own. Or you can be further upper funnel, creating more. I was just talking about this with one of my clients around buy center advertising and creating a lot of awareness today for the buy center, which we can utilize on an OTT spot. And we've seen a lot of success in marrying both, where you can have the same business objective, but it's deployed at different parts of the funnel, right? And so, in addition to that, it's not saying, hey, are we better than YouTube? I'm going to argue we are in certain areas. When we talk about cost efficiency, we found that OTT on Amazon can actually be cheaper than YouTube pre-roll. And it's a higher quality impression because it's non-skippable, and the OTT spot is delivered to a first-party Amazon Garage audience. And so there's a lot of advantages to doing that. The misconception in the market today is that OTT, because it gets compared a lot to linear TV buys, that the CPM is going to be an exorbitant amount of money, and that's just false. That's not the case. And you really have to, as a marketer in our industry, ask the right questions around that. Really sit down and look at the metrics in your campaign to evaluate those cost efficiencies.
So with that, I mean, how are you measuring it? I know this is a bit of a tricky question, and I know that sometimes you have to walk a line on this one a little bit. So how do you best, as a marketer, inspect what you should be expecting out of the campaign?
Yeah, it's actually not as difficult as you would think. I would say that for OTT, we take a pretty close look to the time spent with the brand. So how long consumers are spending hour-wise with the brand spot. We look at the impressions. We look at the view-through percentage. We look at the cost per website visit. And so what's unique about Amazon OTT is the ability to have cross-device website tracking, which allows us to tell our customers upper funnel, did someone view your commercial on their TV, pick up their phone, and then search for the dealer website and visit your website? We can show you that data because the pixel that Amazon uses allows us to see, right, if an impression was received, did that customer then go to the website? Secondary to that, we do look at offline attribution, and that's a very, very core piece to our business. We can upload any set of data. That could be leads data, sales data, and match it back to the OTT spot as well. And so those are sort of pretty key narratives to tell the story with the data that we look at in our dashboards. For display, it varies. It's a little bit different. We look at on-site engagement. We create event tracking for lead submissions, call to actions, click to calls, chat engagement, you name it. And all of that data feeds back into our reporting, which we then evaluate as well to say, hey, we may be getting offline attribution, which is great to prove out the return on ad spend. We also want to understand which audiences get the best engagement on site. And we use that data to articulate that story for our clients, especially when we're testing, different strategies with different media plans. And listen, every business is different. The measures of success, the KPIs that we look at may be different, but there are consistencies to how we measure success. The most important, I would say, is the offline attribution. Secondary to that, uploading data and matching back sales is evaluating the engagement data for each medium.
I think that's a great answer. I like it. You'd posted about a week ago there were two different posts, and they both had some stats. And I wanted to kind of go through that just to kind of drive home, if you're not doing Amazon, how incredibly important it is. And the first one you posted is that 85% of U.S. adults are likely to buy a car in the next 6 months that visited Amazon. Hopefully I didn't slaughter that too much. And then you went on later on, I can't remember which one came first here, that you posted about, and there's a couple different stats here. So I'm gonna let you speak to it. I'm just gonna kind of breeze by them. You posted about a week ago also saying that music streaming has grown over 50% year over year, and over 94 million U.S. smart speaker owners. Over about 23% of market owns Amazon Alexa devices, and that keeps growing. Serve streaming audio. You go on to talk about streaming audio and Amazon audience, and about different ads across that. Just speak to some of those stats there. I thought it was really, really intriguing, and take a different spin on it that I have not heard anybody talk about any of this.
Yeah, audio is a phenomenal market opportunity right now. We stumbled into it, full transparency. We were predominantly building technology for streaming TV and dynamic display. And because our platform lives horizontally on top of the Amazon ecosystem, Amazon, traditionally streaming audio is purchased through a direct insertion order. A lot of people probably do this today with your radio vendors. You probably have done it with maybe Pandora directly. Those direct IOs tend to have extraordinarily high minimums that have been a barrier to entry to advertising or enabling streaming audio. Streaming audio for us today is fully available, has no minimum, as it is now available in the DSP. So it has been made available in the DSP. Amazon now has told us that we can access this a lot easier than we did prior. There's no insertion order requirement. So anybody can turn on audio ads, which is pretty amazing, given that it was kind of a gated channel and sort of lived very ancillary to, what we were doing currently. What gets me really excited about audio is the Amazon Alexa device penetration is actually higher than, I believe, Fire TV in some cases.
Wow, really?
In certain market areas, yeah. And the reason for that is, on average, consumers have about 2.5 smart speakers. They don't just buy one, they buy many. And so the top three placements, right, you have a smart speaker in your bedroom, your living room, your kitchen. And these are all touch points where you can engage with a customer, deliver an ad that they're listening to, maybe through, if they're on their Amazon Alexa device, they might have iHeartRadio on, they might have Spotify on, and they're listening to your ad, and that ad, right, could be delivered at any point in time within their household. That's a pretty big deal when you're talking about full funnel measurement, because the biggest kicker to this whole story is because we built offline attribution for Amazon, we can also match back sales data to whether someone listened to your radio ad.
Yeah.
Which is kind of pretty novel. If it didn't get better today, that, hey, here's this amazing channel that people really had a hard time, I would say, making it accessible for retail automotive. it's now available. Plus, we have full funnel measurement. It's like a no-brainer in terms of, from a marketer's perspective. I mean, I nerd out on this stuff, but I will say, I think this is super exciting. There's 17 million listeners a month today on the Amazon Music free streaming audio music app today. It's a pretty significant portion of the population on just streaming audio that you can layer into your existing strategy. And it doesn't have to be a significant budget. It could be $2,000 a month, that you can just start to layer in audio. It's just another touch point. It's another opportunity to get in front of your customer.
That is nuts. I know during COVID, there's a local dealer or a local dealer, and I would see that dealer always on. If I had Roku going, or not Roku, or Xfinity Stream, and if I had iHeartRadio on, not my smart speaker, I have a Sonos, but if I had iHeartRadio going on the TV, the smart TV, their ads would always pop up. But if it's on my Sonos doesn't do the ads, so I wouldn't see here that, but they would always come up. And I was like, huh. And it was before anybody else was really talking about it. I was like, you know what? Good for you. Like you're ahead of the game. Good for you. All of a sudden, I would see, I'm starting to see them come back up now through, but yeah, I can't remember if it's Pandora or, it's got to be, I'm sure it's iHeart, but I'm starting to hear their ads come up again. But like you said, it's the gateway. I'm sure they're paying an additional cost for that versus just going straight through you all. Anyways, just very interesting. Much appreciated.
Yeah. I mean, I think about, you just gave me a lot of ideas around this piece. And it always brings me back to why Amazon. Amazon customers, yes, you're correct. 85% of US adults likely to buy a car in the next 6 months visited Amazon.com. In addition to that, a frequent Amazon shopper, somebody who is active on Amazon. And you can ask yourself these questions yourself. Some of them are pretty obvious, right? Who do you think is an Amazon customer, right? They're shopping for convenience. They like products delivered to their house, right? They like 2-day shipping, or they would like to get their product pretty quickly. Those same customers also visit dealerships twice as much as the average consumer.
Oh, yeah.
And they also subscribe twice as much as the average customer.
It's just crazy. I mean, you'll hear people say they want the, we're going to do the Amazon experience, the app experience, and then it's talk versus the ones that actually will do it. And there's the talk is cheap. Are you actually going to put those actions into words and do it? Or are you just going to say it and make it look pretty and then actually not fulfill on it? So so I guess the follow-up to all this is, if someone is looking to say, all right, I've never done Amazon, I'm looking to get into it, what's your advice to them? Where do they start? What are the basic steps of how they should start with this?
Yeah, I think the first is to contact, anybody. Our team would be happy to help, even just educate on stuff like that. You may have your existing agency. You can ask them about Amazon to see if they do have it available today. If they don't, have them call me. Shameless plug. But the biggest thing, I've been posting a lot of content around this. Dusty Sutherland is another amazing contact. He comes from the auto retail side. Absolutely, if you're a general manager at a store, GSM, internet director, any marketing director who works in the tier 3 space, who wants to ask him questions, that's where we started. And Dusty is fully equipped to answer those questions. So we have sort of people around that work at our company that make themselves available as resources here. The reason that we are so available is mainly because it takes a lot of education. We will show you presentations that we created, like Programmatic 101 for advertisers. And we can provide that to anybody who's interested in just getting a quick session to say, hey, I want my team to understand this better. And that may be the case, right? Is don't let, a lack of understanding prevent you from creating effective marketing campaigns. And so, that's our core methodology. Like, we want to be the honest broker to provide you all the information to make a good buying decision. And we'll even tell you not to buy from us. We'll tell you to buy from one of our partners who might leverage the platform. But if you buy with us, you want to, great. We'll show you how to do it. It's pretty turnkey. Again, like, it's very, very close today to self-managed in many aspects. In other areas, it's not. We still have to kind of hold, be an additional vendor for some businesses because their existing agency doesn't have DSP access, or they're not doing Amazon today. So that's sort of my perspective on it. But we're here to help and educate. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, that's where you got to start. And I think they should be picking up the phone and calling you, Brooke.
Well, thank you.
At this point, I think there's plenty of people today that should give you a call to talk about programmatic media, to get additional insights here. And I hope that we can inspire some people to do that.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I do want to offer one other point on that I'm going to show up Bill's thing up here again about education is key on here is with that is just like whether it's going back to any type of streaming media is that it seemed like once 2020 hit, there were everybody and their dog was saying, hey, we do this. Oh, we do this. Bullshit, you do it. You can charge for it, but you can't do it. So if you aren't sure whether or not if X company can do it, please reach out to Vasilios. He just said, hey, we'll vet the company. He is way, way more capable than I am when it comes to this. I will help as well. Because just because someone says they can do it doesn't mean they can. They'll sure as hell bill you for it, though. They 100% will bill you for it. And there are definitely ways to say, hey, let's actually look and inspect what should be expected of this company to see, are they taking you for a ride or can they really, really do it? So education is very, very key. So Bill, thank you for that piece that you posted earlier. So there are a lot of companies, and it's not just with, and there are amazing companies out there. Just make sure before you ever get in bed with someone that you know who they are, for what they stand, and that they are a legitimate company. So this has been thank you so much. This is such a needed topic, and I feel like you all are talking about it. There aren't a lot of people that are talking about. I know you're on the number one, Michael Cirillo's number one podcast out there, and the Dealer Playbook. If no one's listened to that one, go listen to it. Please go listen to it. Plug for him, and that podcast obviously is number one for a reason, and a hell of a guest in you being on that podcast there. We're gonna round up with a couple of questions here. I always like to ask. Got a few questions here, so we'll get this thing rocking and rolling. So I know that we kind of talked about how you got in the industry. You came from, I believe, Hendrix, and then been with this company for a year. Do we miss anything on that? How you got in the industry?
Yeah, I started actually my career at a company called Red Ventures.
Okay.
And so, the reason I bring that up is, I think my experience there taught me a lot about marketing more from an industry agnostic standpoint. The irony of it all, I've only dealt with highly fragmented markets in my career. So people think automotive is difficult. Well, try financial services and then try healthcare.
Yeah.
So, I definitely, I had that, I've rolled a lot of my experience that I started early on in my career, mainly paid media related, in these difficult to innovate industries, and just finding ways to break down barriers and make it more effective for customers to advertise.
And I will second that. There are very few of us that start in automotive, and Alan Crutch and I were talking. We call it the old shit moment of like, oh shit, I got to find something to do now. I guess we're going to automotive, and then we stay here because we love this industry. But I also was in a medical, so I 100% know what you mean on that one. So going on, what is your favorite thing to do outside of work? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do to kind of unwind?
I'm an avid bike rider.
Nice.
I love it. I have like clips, shoes, and can kind of get out and ride I live in Stamford, Connecticut. It's not far from the water. There's a lot of trails around here, but I can, hop on my bike and put in an easy 20 miles, especially in the summer when the weather's good. It's a blast. You get out there, you clear your head a little bit. Everybody sort of needs that, even if you work, remote. I think that's, to me, I actually got into, I've always been pretty active, but I got into bike riding in the last couple of years, and I'm thankful I did. But that's been a big thing for me. Outside of that, in the winter, when it gets cold, I do try to find a mountain or two to ski and snowboard. So I would say that's kind of the secondary to my summer sports.
If I had clips on, I would definitely. I've broken and torn about everything, and I would definitely break something. But we did just buy bikes. I haven't bought a bike. Haven't been on a bike since I was probably a child. But we did buy bikes, so I got on a bike, and the saying is true. You always learn how to get back on the bike. So, all right. So, what would you've got a lot going on. So whether it's personal or in work related, what is the biggest thing that you're constantly having to say, I got to distinguish a fact from feeling on this? Like, I know you feel this way, but this is factual. So either work or personal.
I would say professionally, fact, not feeling. The biggest thing for me, I feel like, has been the narrative around Google Analytics and reporting lately. And you knew I was going to bring this up somehow.
I was waiting for it.
For small notes, I'm not going to give away the secret sauce to this podcast episode, but yeah, that was an area that I think, it's been causing a lot of heartburn. I think, I tried to narrow this down, and I took the last couple of days to really think about it, because listen, I'm a paid media professional. I buy media and spend millions across all of these channels. And I will say that Google, I'm not a hater of Google. I think Google Analytics for the auto industry created a source of truth that caused more problems than good. And now Google is, again, changing it. They've even openly said that Universal Analytics was an outdated tool. The reason it caused a lot of pain for somebody like me who's building a programmatic company is programmatic does not have a great story in Google Analytics. There's a lot of complicated reasons for that, including ad scanners that scan for whether your ads are compliant or not. But it tends to overstate a lot of the traffic in analytics. Meanwhile, most people are using the free version of Google Analytics in our industry, and they don't understand that there is upwards of 20 to 30% discrepancy in all of your traffic. It's not just programmatic. It's not just paid social. And so it's kind of this, whereas you got to spend most of your time, you say, I'm busy. I am busy spending most of my time educating what Amazon Media is, but I also spend a good amount of time in Google Analytics with clients to help educate them on what the best level of measurement should look like for their business, and providing them creative ways to create reports that tell the right story for paid media, right? And paid media, the reason that you sort of need, people want consolidated reporting. Everybody wants it to be easy, right? I want one source of truth. Well, I'm here to tell you that there's no such thing in this environment as one source of truth, because the data environment and data privacy is becoming a lot more difficult to police in the industry. And so you're going to see certain channels have their own sets of reporting, and you're going to need channel specific reports, because they're going to be able to surface metrics that you cannot rely on analytics alone to surface. Analytics can still be in the mix, and we do a lot to help clients get their Google Analytics instance looking more accurate to their media buys. So that is actually something that we've been doing. We spend a lot of time on, and it doesn't pay us a single dollar, by the way. Just throw that out there. And we enjoy doing it, because that's part of how that helps our market understand that you need multiple sources of truth to look at your media effectiveness.
So I just wanted, this will probably be another episode. I just want to make that very abundantly clear because we're not going to dive into this, but uh, everyone knows that I obviously am a Google Analytics nerd, and what is being said is very, very true here. If you ever want to have your mind blown, then Dusty was the one that brought this to me, I've been holding on to this for a very, very long time because he goes, "Oh no, but I wasn't the one that came up with this." Go look up Coffeyville. I'm just going to tell you guys, go look up Coffeyville and wonder why your Google Analytics, you're like, what the hell? Why am I getting this traffic from all these different places? And why you can't sort that out. And if that's ever happened to you, that is why. Now, it's a tool in your toolbox. Just understand there are other tools out there. So if you've ever had that happen, just go search Coffeyville and why Google Analytics doesn't match, or it'll be up there. So I'll leave that with that, and we'll leave this for another episode. We'll round this out here as I don't want to keep you much longer here. Is what if you could have any car? What would be your favorite car here?
Wow, that's a tough question when you're a car guy, right?
Yeah.
Hmm. I've always been a huge fan of Ferrari.
Good choice.
I also love Formula One.
Ah.
I think that Ferrari is fundamentally a very unique team in the brand, despite it being a fortune. And I probably will never, if I'm lucky one day in my lifetime, I'll own one. If there are any auto guys out there who are able to get me an unbelievable deal that cuts the price by 100%, great. Somewhere out there, but I would say Ferrari. I don't know what model, honestly, but if there's a brand out there that you're like, I want the Fast and the Furious, it's probably that vehicle for me.
Yeah, oh man, they're so pretty. They're absolutely stunning. We have a track. I don't know if I'm sure they have in California as well, but you can go and like race them. There's just down, in Illinois, you can just Chicagoland, just go and race whatever souped up Ferrari, Lambo, whatever you want to race. You can just go and race them. Like, it's salt and open wound though, because then you just got to give it back. But all right, what would be advice you'd give? Last question: advice you'd give your younger self?
I think I would have told my younger self to be more patient.
Hear that one out? Yeah.
And I think that embracing patience in the context of embracing the longer term view on, and that doesn't have to just be professional, although a lot of what I'm saying is in the context of career and company building. But I made a lot of unbelievable investments at a young age. I think some of those investments, I don't have regrets because I'm always iterating and learning. But if there was a regret, it would to be more around holding investments that you made early on, because a lot of them did take off over time, and I may have missed the boat just not sitting in and sticking to them. That being said, I have learned to be more patient, and my patience today has put me in a phenomenal industry with a phenomenal team. And we're very bought into the long term, and the long term is difficult. And the biggest piece, educating a market around a new channel, new technology, takes a lot of patience. And you need to be willing to be patient to see or reap the benefits of it.
Amen. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, in all aspects, whether, like you said, whether it's in business, whether it's in personal, whether it's in financial, is to have that patience, just to see it long term and not be, I see right here, but see 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and just to hold on to that. It makes a huge, huge difference. But like most of us, is that when you're young, you're impatient and you don't see it. You want it right now. You want it right now, right now. So I 100% agree. But well, thank you so much. Thank you for educating not only myself, but everyone on this call, out there in internet land, and then later on in podcast land. I really appreciate it. And as always, where can people find you? It's in the notes. I understand that, but let everyone know where they can find you if they want to get in touch with you.
Yeah, I would say LinkedIn is a phenomenal place to connect with me. You can add me on LinkedIn. My in backslash is Vasilios Lambos. You can also, if you're in the market, you can send me an email at vasilios@CongintionDigital.io. But I'm pretty available on LinkedIn. I like being active on LinkedIn. So you can just, shoot me a message, DM me. You want help about something? I get super giddy when people cold message me random digital marketing questions. It's like that one thing. Don't sell me on your product, but that one thing, that is so random, but they're just looking for advice. I want those messages all day.
Love it. So if you have those messages, send it to them. Yeah, make them giddy. Let's go, people. Let's go.
Put me to work, please.
Come on, let's go. Get those ones rolling. Let's go. Let's go. All right, everyone. Thank you again, as always. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. Please, it's been a crazy week. Be safe. I'm going to echo those messages because it's been especially out here. I live like 2 miles from Highland Park. So if you have a chance, please go tell your loved ones you love them. Give them an actual hug. Be kind as always. Find a way to serve people. Everyone, please find a way to serve somebody. And as always, just be nice to people. Be kind. Lead with empathy. It's something that we need to focus on more and more as leaders and as people in a management position. And everyone, we will see you all next week. And once again, thank you so much for all your insights. Super, super appreciate it. And everyone, we will see you all next week. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brett.